President Trump showing up at a McDonald's in suburban Philadelphia and putting on the apron, going to work and talking. Of course, it was supporters going around. He shows up at a McDonald's, not just to, which he's done before, I think, and like bought, everybody's meal and things like that. But this time, the franchise owner, so supporter, let him go behind the counter, fry some fries, and then work, which I think he actually, honestly, I think it is a position he would love.
He seems to enjoy it.
Which is the working the
fries?
No, working
the drive-thru.
The drive-thru and getting to do the window.
Yeah.
Because then you get to talk to different people. Every minute and a half, you got new people coming by.
He seemed like he was having a blast. Of course, this was in response to Harris always talking about being an employee at McDonald's, but Trump has pushed back upon that.
She admitted it from her real bio, which is not in her book. Yeah. And she talks about her whole time at Howard University, scraping by, but never talks about actually working at McDonald's. Yeah. And, it's one of those things where, like, if you did, you would have done it in the book because it's something that a lot of Americans around that age group. 1 in 8 Americans has worked at McDonald's. Including our mom.
Yeah, of course. It's
like
probably the most common job.
It was one of the tougher jobs. She said people don't realize how hard it is, like the fries and all that, which haven't changed that much. Yep. And, people getting hurt. And working those registers. This was back before technology with lots of people coming in, a new idea of this fast food thing. So even if you were young when you did it, you still remember it in detail. Yeah.
Well, this is a great job to take at the beginning, and it requires expertise. I'm going through the French fry stuff. It's a whole big process, and it requires great expertise actually to do it right and to do it fast. Yeah. Well, I do appreciate it. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, you take it for granted. You say, give me French fries. I'll never forget this experience, okay? Now I know how to do it, and it's very good. But you know what? It's beautiful. It's clean. It's really nice. You never touch them. I always figured somebody stuffs them in with their hand, and I don't like that. And they don't do it that way. You never touch them. It's really great. So I want to thank you all for coming out. And we're going to see you soon. We'll see you at the next stop. And then we'll see you later on at the game.
I told you he was going to love working that window. I think he literally said, I love doing the window.
I mean, that is 1 minute of what was probably half an hour of footage of talking to people, learning. I mean, it was a really fun watch. And I say that as someone who enjoys this kind of media where they are really getting down to sort of the granular level. On the other side of it, you had Harris, making it was supposed to be a big event with Lizzo over the weekend. And Harris spoke for 6.5 minutes. Now, you can converse that with Trump, who maybe spoke, typically will end up speaking for 2 hours or plus in some of these events. But you can tell they're nervous. They're putting her out there for 6.5 minutes. They are sending her to church. They are doing this moment because the polls are really starting to indicate. Now, that doesn't necessarily say one way or the other, but they're starting to indicate a Trump-leaning moment here, whether that's in the early voting, massive turnout in early voting. I went to our precinct here. I voted last week, and the person at the poll said they had, and this is like in a small suburb, said they had 2,000 people every day. And that was, she said, beyond imaginable compared to previous elections.
And let me tell you, in that suburb, that's Republicans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the fact is they got the message that we're telling people, which is early voting is different than absentee voting. Absentee is a last resort. I mean, you only do that if you really do think you're going to be out of town, and even through this early voting period, or that you're someone who is at the hospital, something like that, military, etc. But voting early, it's the same machine, the same process, and then you're opened up now to people that have issues. Everybody's got issues on election day. You can help them out, and you know what? You're not going to have to wait in a 3-hour line. You don't have to worry about doctor's appointments. You don't have to worry about your kids being sick or your parents getting sick or you getting sick. I mean, it's kind of like all of that. Get your vote in, and then it frees you up to get more people out to vote. God, we really do live in two different countries right now. I mean, depending on where you get your news, because I think Republicans and kind of like everyday Americans who are not even that political see it as kind of a nice thing to do and like
in a moment it's very normal politics.
Yeah.
Like,
and MSNBC freaks out like, why would you ever do
like he's lost his mind because he has gone to a McDonald's.
Even Drudge Report, which is not, Drudge's never been that big with Trump.
Yeah.
Tried to use it as like, made him like look like the Ronald McDonald makeup. I'm like, no, I was like, I just don't think you're getting why he was able to win the first time.
Right.
Is that he can connect to people who care about that $5 value meal. And there's a reason why McDonald's has kept it.
Let's play MSNBC's response.
Yeah, it's wild.
Go ahead.
If you're on his campaign, and I know you are certainly not, I'm not making any implication of that, but what is the logic behind this, going to a McDonald's? I mean, we know the guy likes Big Macs and filet of fish, and he's used the word love to describe the way he feels about the food there before. But what's this about?
There's no logic to it. It's a stunt. He has not put forth an economic agenda. He, as you know, appears to be not well, and he's engaged in some really bizarre types of activities during this campaign. So this is just another one of those stunts that he will continue on through the campaign. And I think that we need to really focus on making sure that he is not elected, of course, because he is a threat to our democracy.
MSNBC does understand that for a lot of middle-class voters, even if you're hurting economically, you can usually afford to get your kid maybe a treat, maybe a Happy Meal at McDonald's. They actually follow the economy very closely. That $5 value meal has been extended through the end of the year because of the economy. So that people can get more food for less. And I think when they say, like, why would he even go there? Why would you spend your time? Because people, they're saying, like, they're disgusted by McDonald's.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is what happened also. If you remember, there was that Anderson Cooper clip after January 6th where he goes, these people are all going to return back to their courtyard Marriotts or something like that. Yeah. And they're all, go have Olive Garden tonight. And yeah, it's completely disconnected from the real world of what's actually happening. And by the way, not in lower class America, in suburban America. Just normal America is going to McDonald's or to the Olive Garden or wherever.
You're not going to Olive Garden if you're really, really economically hurting. No, I mean, again, those places get more popular when the budgets get tighter because you can still take your family out to eat. And, you get your unlimited salad and breadstick.
And, of course, McDonald's got some pushback. They put out a statement. I'm going to read part of it. It says, earlier today, former President Trump visited a McDonald's restaurant in Pennsylvania following a request made to our local franchise. We'll skip down a little bit. McDonald's does not endorse candidates for elected office, and that remains true in this race for the next president. We are not red or blue. We are golden. Though we are not a political brand, we've been proud to hear former President Trump's love for McDonald's and Vice President Harris's fond memories of working under the arches. While we in our franchise don't have records for all positions dating back to the early 80s, what makes 1 and 8 so powerful is that the shared experience so many Americans have. Upon the president's request, we approached it through the lens of one of our core values. We open our doors to everyone. Yeah. So, and then you can continue on. Great statement by McDonald's, by the way. They did they really.
And they asked, like, why else did he do it? I mean, how many times have you seen the imagery? Him out the window. I got the shirt. Again, it's on his campaign site, but it's become an image that people share. It's already a T-shirt.
Yeah, it's almost as iconic, weirdly, as the assassination attempt photo. I mean, it's what we're seeing it. It's a little more palatable.
You can get either one.
Yeah.